I'm going to show you how I did that falling through the floor trend. I played the music a few times to get it in my head, but it's about 5 seconds for the first shot, so you can also just kind of count to 5 on the first one. You need to position yourself in front of a mirror that's about waist high, like this. Okay. And first one I'm going to shoot, and I want to hold my camera up so that I see in the mirror from the thighs up. I'm not going to look at myself in the mirror, I'm going to look at my phone lens in the mirror. It's hard, but you got to do it. And then you're going to hold your phone, and your phone's going to go up and down with you. Just pretend your arm is locked in this position so that you can't move the phone like this. You want to take it with your body each time. That's important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now for the rest of the shots, I put a bench on the floor so that I could start up a little higher and give myself some height to jump down. Okay, so my bench is like this high. It helps to get some height, so if you're a good jumper, you don't need a bench, but I'm going to use a bench. So we're going up. Here we go. So peace sign, up, down. My arm is locked. Next one, we're going to do hand over the head. Up, down. Now we're going to do a different thing. Maybe we'll do an I love you sign. Up, down. Okay, now we'll do a wave. I'm going to wave for the whole time. Let's see if I can make that work. And, okay. Okay, let's go edit. I'm all jumped out. Open up CapCut, start a new project. I'm going to grab Tessa's video, which I saved to my phone, and then my long stretch of jumps where I did them all in a row. Add to project. It takes a minute. The first thing you want to do is touch on the timeline for Tessa's video and go over to extract audio, and that separates the audio from the video, and then click on the video and delete it, and that will put your video on top of the audio. So now we're going to scroll to the part where I'm waving and falling. As soon as my head disappears, that's where I want the end of the shot to be. Touch on the timeline and split the clip. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning, touch on the timeline, touch on the white part, and I'm going to drag this until it ends. Oops, I dragged it a little too far. We want the end of the shot to be right where the beat drops, which is indicated right there on the timeline by that big change in the audio. So we're going to touch on it again, and I'm going to add a little bit back. Oops, that was probably a little too much. You're going to do this a little at a time until you get to right where that beat drops. Now, watch what happens here. Okay, that's pretty good. So I drop down. Go to the next shot. Scroll to where you jump up, but you want to start the shot. You see, it was good that I had the bench because I got higher. You see here I'm going up, and then I want the beginning of the shot to be when I'm in the downward motion, right there. So I'm going to touch on the timeline, split the clip, and get rid of the beginning by clicking delete. Now I'm going to scroll on the peace sign shot, and I'm going to get just to where I exit the frame, and I'm going to stop right there, touch on the timeline, click split, and now I'm going to scroll to the next one. So you want to edit on the downward motion. So I'm going up, 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 and then right there when I start to go down, I stop, touch on the timeline, click, click, split. Now I'm going to get rid of what's in between. So I have my last one. I'm going to get rid of the beginning. Now it's going to go from one to the next. See that? All right, now we have 4 clips, but how are we going to fill up the rest of this music? You see the music? It goes all the way up to here. That's the ending of the music. Now you're going to go in with 2 fingers and you're going to size your timeline bigger, because now we're in microsurgery land here and we need it to be bigger. You're going to size your timeline up by doing this with your fingers until your shots get nice and big so you can see each one. It's really helpful. You need about 16 jumps for this video, but since I only did 4, I'm going to duplicate them and rearrange them. So I touch on the peace sign, scroll along the bottom till I see copy, touch off the timeline, then tap back on and hold the shot and slide it to right before the end. So that way I can keep rearranging them. Same thing with the next shot, touch on it, scroll over, look for copy, touch off the timeline, touch back on and hold it, and slide it back right before the end. And you need about 16 jumps to fill up the music to the end, but I did 12, and then what I did was I touched on my last clip and I slowed it down. So I went to speed, touch on normal, slide this little slider to slow the shot down. I slowed it down to 0.3 so that it would fill up the whole ending. Click the check mark, and it takes it all the way to the end pretty much. Okay, let's take a look at it. Let's make it full screen. Pretty amazing.